This is your daily market review for Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Let's go. Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well. This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is your daily market review for Thursday, February 8th, 2024. Hopefully you're doing great. If you get a chance, check out the live chat we did earlier today. Always love doing those. Really great insight for everybody. So the market is chopping around. SPX got to the numbers, got you to the 5,040. A lot of people were calling for that. Well, they got it. Kudos to them who did. Hit it and immediately rejected. Near term, again, going into the middle of February, the seasonality, there's typically a pullback during options expiration. We'll go through the evidence. The breath is pretty terrible. I agree with people in the Discord room. The breath is terrible. Only people buying and shouting, yelling is novices, and it's at the highs, which you gotta be careful. It's not to say that you can't go higher, and they can rip it. They can definitely pull things higher, but it's the same thing at the lows. Like the people screaming loudest, the market is gonna dump, the world's gonna is what? Daily retail. So new to the channel, check out the Discord room, a link in the description below. Appreciate all the love, support, and generous donations. You guys are amazing. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Check out the education series. It's also on my website, thetradingagent.com. Get your recommended reading. Click on the links. Get your Marcus account. Get your interactive brokers. I'm telling you, do not stay with Schwab, because I'm telling you there's going to be issues. Maybe they get bailed out, but man, I would not want to be stuck on that ship if they go out of business. Twitter, also follow, posting all of what we're up to. Check it out. Let me know how I can help. Use the Calendly link in the description below if you really need to chat. All right. I keep saying this, but I think a lot of people haven't checked this out. Randy Howe, Trading Psychology, Probability-Based Mindset, how to build a business in trading. The mindset, again, something that I think is very important, underrated. His videos are amazing. Check them out. All right, Fed Watch Tool, 18.5%. We know, at this point, the only way that this will rise is if the market starts dumping. So keep that in mind. Bitcoin, we're at some really important levels. Talked about this during the live chat today. You got to get through this. Now, if it backs up near term, it's not the end of the world. But as we all know, I would assume it has to hold 42. If it doesn't, I would be super scared. This is the head and shoulders top. Oil all over the place up today. Again, I tell people this all the time. I'm like, man, if you really want to trade oil, great. It's just big, sloppy, choppy. And I've said this, I go on record 1,000 times. Best time to buy commodities when the Feds actually pivot. We're not there yet. Natural gas, getting back to some levels that just get you excited. I don't know why it's zooming out, but this is the area. Come on, give me more. Nope. For some reason it's not. But this area is really important. Again, not saying it can't go lower, but at this price, it's pretty impressive because power companies aren't lowering rates, but look at natural gas prices. It'll boggle your mind right here. So I don't see much downside near term. Dollar, as we talked about, holding up pretty well, considering everything else, everywhere else in the world is an absolute shite show. TLT, as we talked about, got to hold down here. Is it going to go in a choppy range? Keep an eye on it. 9,900 to 9,394. That's what I'd be watching for. The VIX, I'm impressed that they can keep this thing compressed this long. Credit to folks who expected this. We're at the range lows. We'll see if we can go a little lower. Vixen, again, holding up pretty well. Look at the wick on today's action. I know these are just bad trades, but somebody blew out maybe. Vivix, kind of starting to wake up. I always like to see when the Vivix bottoms before the VIX. I think it's not 100. Again, there's no certainty trades, but it's something you like to see. Good old SPY. Another doji up here. Again, I'm not saying it can't rip higher, but I talked about in the live chat today. Look at the down candles, bigger volume, and then you have the up volume just dying. So again, not saying you can't go higher, but just keep an eye on it. QQQQ, thought we might have a left-right combo. Comes out, but again, you want to see breakouts with volume, and that's what I talked about in the live chat today. Breakouts with volume help confirm the action. IWM been lagging hard. Not surprised it could backtest. Market's holding up. Backtest the trend lines. Good old Dia high, Dia ho, holding up pretty well. Another doji up here. I know Disney was up today, but then there were some other laggards. Gold, chop. Just be careful. Again, I like gold long term, absolutely. But when the Feds pivot and we break out over the old highs, that's when I would go long. Until then, I'm waiting for either a big pullback or a breakout. I don't want to be stuck in the middle because, I mean, being stuck in the middle is just typically what, again, silver's not confirming this action, so I don't want it. Miners are not confirming this action. I don't want it. Right now, again, if you want to trade the ranges, you're at range lows, but I'm waiting for them to bust the range lows, puke everyone out, then flip it around. Because then the market makers can get unlimited volume inventory, essentially. AEM, again, chopping lower. AG, I think they have earnings. Did they have earnings today? It was like, again, their earnings keep changing every time I look it up. Either way, it just looks like it's dead. Newmont, I mean, Newmont should be cooking, right? Gold's about to break, but Newmont's making new lows. Something just, again, you have to just trust the action for what it's worth. Someone knows, right? I get a lot of gold people that hit me like, dude, you got to buy it down here. I'm like, somebody knows, right? Like, why are people not buying these down here? Because they're probably expecting the baby out the bathwater. Taiwan Semi, look at this. The best short in my mind ever, being wrong on. Stopped out in the last 2 days, but let it run. There's some gaps up in the 140 area. Keep an eye on it. Because, again, China's not taking over Taiwan at some point. I don't know. It rose on ARM Holdings. Again, I imagine they got more upgrades. I didn't even look too hard at it. I'm like, let it go. I don't want to pick. Again, when momentum names are ripping and rocking, be careful, right? Micron, like that's stuck. AMD, 20-day, really key. Chopping around, right? NVIDIA. Taiwan Semi is kind of like NVIDIA. Like when it starts ripping, you got to like give it a couple days. You got to see multi-day ranges. Now, is this a little trap? Either way, the easiest short's going to be when it breaks 680, essentially. Because it could chop up and then go higher. Like names like Intel, these are the names you stay short, right? They look like trash. Now, at channel lows, could it bounce? The market holds up. Yep, you bet your butt. SMH got to that 200 level. Again, I'm always impressed up here. Again, you're going to see this at lows as well. When the market goes lower than you think it can always go higher than you think it can as well. Adobe started to pull back, retesting the range highs, holding the 20-day. Good old Apple to fruit lagging. This is where it's hard to trust the market, right? We talked about bouncing on earnings, holding the channel lows, dink to a T. Now we're back testing another channel in a major area near 190. Keep an eye on it. Starts lagging. Amazon took a nice rip with earnings. Now you've got a multi-day range here. Just watch what happens. Meta, same thing. Multi-day ranges. A lot of these names that popped on earnings are not showing follow through. And again, you could argue it's healthy or unhealthy. I would argue it's not healthy because you had huge volume at the highs and no follow through. That feels like retail, chasers, short squeeze, and now we're stuck. There's no more buyers. Big moves. CRM holding up well. Again, these are names like just don't step in front of the train. Google drops on earnings, pops back, hits the 100. Watch this 20-day. We said watch it. Microsoft holding up pretty well. Dropped on earnings, chopping around. Back at the range highs. Curious to see if it breaks out. That would help lift the NASDAQ. NDAQ, speaking of, here's like a fake breakout coming back. Again, I love that short long term, but you got to get at the highs. MicroStrategy, are you surprised it ripped? No, we talked about holding down here. Then look at yesterday's action. Drops, boom. Near term, again, it's tough to know. I'd be watching this area around 600. It seems very logical. And again, if you're long it, congrats. If you're short, what were you doing? You got to take your profits. Netflix, chopping, 580, 575. So far, it looks pretty good if you're shorting, right? It's a good old Roblox. We talked about this one failing every time at the 47, 48 area. So far, so good. Tesla, we called it. Said near term, probably a bottom. Hit the trend line. I'm just curious that it should be up more, in my opinion. I would not be surprised by a 20-day 200 touch or the gap fill, but with the way the market's acting, it's not acting that great. So that's where, again, you got to be a little concerned by it, right? Just gently. I haven't looked at TSLQ in a while. It's that thing 126. Yeah, this thing's a dog, but it goes when it goes. Airbnbs, we talked about watch the 150s. And now, again, this is the thing about shorting in general. Like, if the market's holding up, things might not crash, right? So that's where you got to expect retest. Be careful. Give yourself time. Costco, this one's just holding up. Strength to strength. A lot of gaps in it. Starbucks, gaps up for earnings, pulls back. Ex-divs today. Watch around the 100-day. It has a tendency to straddle the 100 and play games. Wouldn't be surprised if we did that going into OPEX. Federal Express, here you go. Transport name, just not leading. At the range lows. Caterpillar, we talked about this gap was the top. Now you're chopping around. But again, if the market holds up, does it have to dump? But it tells you that the buyers are exhausted. I mean, definitely that's what I see in that very easily. Just I don't know if it's going to dump immediately, but exhausted. Nucor holding up pretty well. Got to give it credit. X, I mean, been saying this for weeks. I don't think they get bought out by Nippon Steel. I think there's bidders down here. I just don't think there's much downside unless everything just absolutely implodes tomorrow. VALE, global growth name, dead money. This is what's so hard to trust the market. Arrow, dead money, chopping around. Not really leading. Well, again, holding support, but we'll see if it goes. CC Jizzle. We'd warned you folks, didn't we? Yeah, we did. We said be careful, double top. Now you're back at support. I mean, I don't know. This is a tough one. I mean, I think we all like uranium long term. It's just been on fire. Just careful. I mean, again, I'm waiting for bigger dips. I have no desire to chase because problem with chasing, this is what essentially happens to the names like NVIDIA and all these names that go like parabolic at some point. People will be like, oh, this isn't parabolic, but look at the percentages. It's pretty big, actually. Went from 20 up to 50 something, right? It's a pretty big move. CF, same kind of thing in the sense of like commodity names. I'm just letting them play out. Chop, chop. Mosaic, chop, chop. I mean, again, I don't have any near-term thoughts on them other than just be careful. If you have to trade them, be thoughtful. Look at Aaron. Chop, chop. Fizz, fizz. Rotor relief it is. XLF starting to get tired. Trying to get it to close below the 8-day. Rally back at the close. Can't say it's done yet. JP Mo. Holding up. However, it does look like a double topper. It's just a matter of when, not if. This turns. Morgan Stanley. Lagging. I mean, this is what's so, it's like, hits the upper range bound. Doesn't look good. Right? Bank of America, Bank of Sumatra, whatever. You have the top. Now you're just chopping. Goldman Sachs. We talked about this. You got to break 375. It could chop in a range and you could drive you nuts. Carry, little oversold rally into the close. Not surprised. We've gone down from 54 down to 45, 46. Okay, chop around. Keep an eye on it. XBI, we talk about the bios. Like, you got to hold levels. I mean, you're seeing this a lot. There's a lot of names that are not following through, but you got to give them strength, credit for strength, and potential weakness. And the weakness would obviously when the bottom drops out. And if they hold up, then it could be just a reload. So you got to be careful. Got to be careful. Oil got popped today. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, the inventory numbers. Pretty bullish. UNG, we've talked about gift. If you like gas now in this area, again, stop. I mean, we said low 18s, 17s, retest, whatever. If you want to start adding, that makes sense to me. Cold KOLD, we talked about this name could go nuts because again, it's the volatility in this thing, the ability to move quickly up and down and then decay. If you're starting to load up here, I love it. Again, we talked about try to get as high as you could. Well, remember, if you're layering in piece by piece by piece, if you stop out, great. That's fine too. But if you're watching these levels, you're starting to get attracted, right? Like I'd be watching for multiple day ranges. I said it and saying it again. Oh, I forgot solar. Solar, we talked about any bounce. I don't know if I would short them right this second, but I mean the names that have popped. Sedge, Edge, ENPH, right? Man, I've got alarms. Show me the money. First solar, we talked about solar starting to lag, right? Not even starting, been lagging. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. We said that things were going to get cooked. Well, they're definitely, some cooked more than others, some well done. HYG, again, I am amazed at anyone who thinks it's smart to buy corporate debt here going into a recession. That just seems like a gamble to me. So we did oil and gas. Let's get into XOP. This is the thing about the market. Like, it's not, the breath just sucks. Some names rolling, most names not. Like XOP, just dead, stuck. CVE is one that people have been keeping an eye on. Again, I watch this stuff, right? I got an eye on it. You better break this downtrend because it could. Maybe you get to the 100, 200-day across. That'd be interesting. Valero, chop, chop, fizz, fizz. But it's holding up pretty well. ExxonMobil, chopping around the lows. I mean, again, there's just not much to say other than be careful. MPC, we talked about watching this hit the channel high. Chopping at the channel high, worth it to watch. Occidental, dead money until Buffett wants it to go. I mean, again, Buffett doesn't mind accumulating shares. down here. He's just like, thank you. I'll get their dividend and I'll sell covered calls because it's going nowhere. Then I'll sell covered puts when it dumps. And I'm just going to print money like I'm Scrooge McDuck. EQT, here's another one that, again, natural gas, not holding up. Flex LG, now I'm getting excited about this. I like to see this. Remember, we talked about Congress loading this thing. We talked about the juicy dividend. We talked about what long-term will be natural gas exporter. So I appreciate all the love, support, generous donations. You guys are amazing. Let me know how I can help. Use the Calendly link. Again, we talk about real estate constantly here. If you have any real estate needs, do not hesitate. Check out the live chat today. It was a lot of fun. I will see you guys and gals later. Peace. Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.